Hello, everyone. This is Morris Jackson with Religion, Economics, and Politics. We have another great show lined up for you today. Stick around, and we'll be right back after this short message.
Stop searching. Take control of your blood sugar levels with our powerful blood sugar ultra supplement, crafted with natural ingredients proven to lower blood sugar levels. Your solution is finally here. Visit our online store and order now to start your journey to better health.
Now, we want to, let's just say, move to the next step and say, okay, hey, you know what? I feel a little bit better now. I understand what blockchain is. I understand, the decentralized concept and why the government may try to demonize, this form of banking and exchange of currency. You know what? I want to try it out. How do I start or get involved with cryptocurrency, and what's I guess a way to make sure that I'm getting involved in a legitimate, agency or whomever I would go to for cryptocurrency, because there are lots of people out there scamming folks, and we don't necessarily know what's legitimate, what isn't legitimate. How do we get started, and how do we protect ourselves at the same time? Because we want to get in on this too. I mean, we want to be a part of this new currency, and we don't want to get left behind.
Okay, that's a good question. How to get started? By the way, I forgot to mention. But yeah, in response to your question, the first way to get started is education. You need to, in fact, anything in life that you want to start, you need to first get educated about it. You need to first know how does it work. You need to ask questions. You need to utilize YouTube. You need to take maybe some. None of these are platforms. A lot of online academies or online institutions where you can basically learn about this. Videos on YouTube too. When you understand that this is what blockchain technology is, but that's the first way. When you understand that, take for example myself, I also do graphics, I also do business development. I also offer other digital skills, not just to people here in Nigeria, to people overseas. I have like some clients in UK, in US. They pay me in Bitcoin for my service because it is easier for them to send me Bitcoin. Before I came into the Bitcoin, the crypto space, what they paid me then was probably USD or Naira. USD basically. So they'll send me the dollar and then I'll go to my bank. Sometimes it takes me like 3 days to a week to get it. If I go to the bank, the queue is usually very long. So I go to the bank in the morning and come back in the evening because the bank has so many customers. But right now, when I told my clients that I don't want you to send me the USD anymore or the fiat currency, just buy Bitcoin there and send it to me. In less than 2 seconds, I've received the money, Bitcoin in my account. In less than 2 seconds, I've converted it to Naira. So you see that it has not just only saved me the stress of going to the bank, it has also saved me time that I don't have to waste my time, go and queue, go for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days processing documents and all. The convenience, the ease.
Yes.
And then it is even cheaper. You can charge you as far as high as 8 to 7 or 6% as fees for sending money, fiat currency, maybe through Western Union or other platforms, across borders. But with crypto, it can even go as minimal as possible. In fact, some platforms even offer free transaction. Like if I want to transfer $100,000 from one country to another, it is free. It is fast. It is free. It is efficient. Because come to think of it, why is this cheap? Because it eliminates the middleman. Blockchain eliminates the middleman. And because it eliminates the middleman, it lowers the operational costs. Right? I can transfer money from here to you and without even using the banks or using any third party provider. So that's why there's no cost, and it's pretty much cheaper. There are a lot of benefits basically. So coming back to your question of how you get started by basically watching a lot of videos online on YouTube, how to get started, what is cryptocurrency. Once you've understood now there's a difference between blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. Blockchain technology is the technology itself. Blockchain technology is the distributed and the decentralized ledger that stores transaction, the database that is decentralized and distributed, storing data. That is the blockchain technology. Now, cryptocurrency is one of the use cases, one of the benefits, one of the advantages of blockchain technology. In other words, cryptocurrencies run on the blockchain technology. So the technology that powers the cryptocurrency is the blockchain. An example of cryptocurrency, we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have XRP. All of these are cryptocurrencies. They are all built on the blockchain. So the blockchain is the technology. The cryptos are like the digital currencies, right? So how you get started basically is take videos, watch a lot of videos online, learn about how it works. That's one. Then two is identify your niche. What do you want to use this blockchain and crypto for? Because in the process of understanding blockchain and crypto, you now also get to see how it matters to you. There are a lot of ways, I'll just give like a few hints, there is the part of crypto where you use money to make money. That is, for example, there is a coin or a token. Now, a coin is different from a token. A coin is a cryptocurrency that has its own blockchain. But a token is a cryptocurrency that is built on another blockchain. An example of a coin is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a coin. One Bitcoin currently is $63,000 for one Bitcoin. It's currently $63,000. About 10 years ago, just a few years ago, about maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, one Bitcoin was about $1. So imagine an asset, yes, a Bitcoin in 2008, 2009, 2010, thereabouts. And one Bitcoin was actually trading below $100. In fact, there was a time Bitcoin was trading at 50 cents. One BTC is $0.5. So imagine if one Bitcoin has grown over the years. It is one of the most performing assets globally, growing from less than $1 for one Bitcoin to right now $63,000 to Bitcoin. That's a lot of money. So imagine you had bought $1,000. You had invested $1,000 into Bitcoin. That's a few years ago. $1,000 invested into Bitcoin a few years ago at $1 each would have given you 1,000 Bitcoins at the price of $1 per Bitcoin. So now if you want to sell off that 1,000 Bitcoins that you bought for $1, total of $1,000, you want to sell it right now, each of them costs $63,000.
Wow.
Current value,
that appreciation is just, that's crazy.
Huge.
Yes.
Yeah. So right now it's $63 million. So the money, your $1,000 would have grown, your $1,000 would have appreciated to $63 million. All of these things are things that the government would not also want you to have access to. These are ridiculous, right? And other assets too have performed like that. Like I said, there are two ways around it. One is using your money to make much more money.
Just as you're speaking, I was thinking about how our currency currently works. You talked about the fiat currency and then versus the blockchain and the decentralized system of banking. When we put our money in the bank, and let's just say we transfer money from one account to the other, or from someone's account from our account to say someone else's account, we are not transferring real money. It's digital. It is just a message or an electronic message that is sent to another account to say, hey, pay out or deposit into the account or show this amount of money digitally in said person's account or the receiver's account. That person is then able to check their account, see now that X amount of dollars has been deposited. Now that's the electronic representation of what's in the bank. And then once they go to the bank, they can now pull out the fiat currency or the dollars or the euro or whatever it is, whatever currency, whatever country you're living in, you're able to pull that physical currency out. Now that's just kind of a representation that I've as you've been speaking, that I've kind of envisioned. And I would envision that the blockchain currency is the same. Basically, you have this digital currency or this Bitcoin. You can then go and exchange it for the currency or the fiat currency in the country where you live. Is that pretty accurate, or is that or am I off base here?
Okay, so the way you, just to make sure I get your question correctly, you're asking how the conversion of currency works from the crypto to fiat,
yeah, because
right?
I don't see it as being much different. I don't think people have to be as concerned about it as they probably are, because it's very, other than it being centralized, versus our traditional banking system versus the blockchain, which is decentralized. You're basically still dealing with a digital representation of money, because actually when I hold up a dollar, that is just a physical representation of the money. But once I deposit it in my bank account, it then becomes digital. Let's just say, like I said, if I want to transfer money from myself to my sister, they're not actually sending money. They're sending a digital message or data to her bank account to say, hey, Morris Jackson has deposited X number of dollars into your account. She can then look at that online and say, oh, okay, that amount of money has been deposited into the account. The bank on that end is responsible for paying out that money in whatever currency she wants to withdraw that money in. So whether it's dollars or whether it's euro, just depending on the country you live in. And I just kind of envision that is similar, because they're both digital. The only difference is they're not controlled centrally. One is decentralized versus central.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, yes, there's something common between both of them, which is that both of them, like you said, are digital. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is what is common. Both of them are digital. They're not physical. But the difference is that one is centralized, the other is decentralized. In the process of sending that dollar in your bank to your sister, anything can happen, and your bank can block that transaction from occurring. Your bank can maybe freeze. Like, take for example myself, my bank has once frozen my account, for I had to resolve it, and then they had to get it unfrozen back. So there's so much power by the owners of that bank, right? Yes. Maybe the owner of the bank or the government or the people in charge of the bank or whatever, whatever government entity and all. So that's different. The difference is that you don't have full control over the money in your bank and the money or the amount that you are sending. Now, blockchain and cryptocurrency also solves another problem, which is a problem of double spending, right? Because if I have, now in crypto, we have what we call the decentralized platforms, and we have the centralized platforms. So we have the decentralized exchanges, we have the centralized exchanges or decentralized wallets and centralized wallets. Now, the decentralized are the ones I'm talking about, for example, Trust Wallets. If I put $1,000 in my Trust Wallet, nothing can happen to that trust wallet. In 10 years to come, 20 years to come, what I will see in my wallet is $1,000 because I put in $1,000 there. Now, once I send the 1,000, if I send like a portion of it, let's say I send probably like $10 to my sister. If I come back there, I'm seeing $990. I can withdraw it anytime I want because I'm the one. You cannot debit the amount from my trust wallet, and there is no, unlike the centralized system, which is your bank, for example, where the people or the bank owners trade with your money. They trade with your money. That's basically this is basically how banks make money. Banks would collect money from people who would deposit into the bank, that's users. And once they do that, they trade with it, or they can even offer loans. Some people, let's say Mr. A has $1,000 in his bank, right? Because he wants the bank to save it for him, and with the promise of probably 1% interest rates per annum. That's what the bank uses.
It's so generous.
Yeah, so generous, right? Maybe 1 or 2% interest rates. So that's the first part. Then Mr. B wants to start up a business, but he doesn't have money. So he will go and collect a loan from the bank. So when Mr. B collects a loan from the bank, it's literally your money, that's Mr. A's money, that bank is giving to Mr. B. But
they didn't ask my permission to use my money either.
They do not ask for your permission. It's your money, but they will not ask for your permission. So what bank will do to Mr. B is, okay, we're going to give you this $1,000 that you want to start a business, but at the end of 1 year or 2 years, you're giving us 10, you're giving us 15%. So you see that bank is helping Mr. A to keep his money and offer Mr. A 1% at the end of the year.
But I'm in the wrong business.
That's a good business. The bank is loaning that money to Mr. B to start his own business.
Right.
And offering and telling Mr. B that you pay the bank as high as 15% after a year. So you see that the net profit of 14% the bank is making off Mr. A and Mr. B. And now imagine you are doing that to millions of users.
Yes.
That's a lot of money. That's one of the ways. You can also have like invest other businesses and all that. But if it's a decentralized system, if Mr. A decides to put that $1,000 in a decentralized wallet, nobody can debit that $1,000. It is there. You can't touch it. You have to authorize a transaction before it leaves your account. So that's different.
So now the banks will say, I'm sorry, let me interrupt you, but I just wanted to capture that moment. So, now the banks will say, hey, if your money's in our bank, it's insured. If something happens, if the bank is robbed or if it's hacked, your money's insured up to, I can't remember, it was a little over $100,000. I think they've raised that now to a little over $200,000 here in the U.S. But if you have, and the reason why I bring this up is because banks are failing. At least here in the U.S., we've had banks that have been failing lately. But if you had, say, $500,000 in the bank, and they only insure you up to, say, $250,000, well, I've lost $250,000. I've lost half my money. Now, but they're telling me not to trust cryptocurrency. So it's okay if I've got maybe, $2,000 in the bank. Okay, you'll insure it. I'll eventually get my money back because, those things never move quickly as you put the money in the bank. So with cryptocurrency, and I know we've kind of bounced around a little bit here, but I want to get back to our other question about getting started. But, my money's in there in my wallet. It's secured in the cryptocurrency account. What guarantees me that my money is going to be there? How secure is it?
Okay. So that's also why I started with explaining, first of all, the foundation of Bitcoin and what blockchain technology is. That the way money is being stored, the way data or transactions or the coordination, the control, the server if it is a centralized system, it has just one central server. Like if you go to like a school, or if you go to a banking system, or you go to any other centralized financial system, all of the orders, all of the coordination, the control, the servers, they are done they have like a central server. But then for cryptocurrency, it's different. Cryptocurrencies store transactions not in a single copy, but it stores it in several networks. So if I'm doing a transaction right now, it is stored, it replicates its storage in all of the systems that are internet. Like these are thousands of networks. So just that, and each networks are created each day. So it increases the security. So if you talk about security, like I also mentioned on the centralized system, which is like the banking system, you can even alter some records because they have like the power, have the admin access. But with crypto, no one can. It is decentralized. If you want to do a transaction, it is open, it is also transparent. Everyone can see it. I was about giving an example, which is the 50 people in the family trying to crowdfund and raise money, and just one person's bank account is being used to collect all of the money.
Right.
He can decide, these are possible outcomes. Outcome number one is he can decide to run away with the money that have been contributed so far. That's one. Secondly, he can probably $30 million was raised, but he would say that it's just $10 million that was raised. Because there's no transparency. Other people who are contributors don't have direct access to see as the transactions are being, being sent. But if it's blockchain, once I send you money right now, everyone can see it if they have access to my address. So it is transparent. When there's a crowdfunding that is going to be done and is done via blockchain, everyone sees as the money increases, as the money is being sent. So all of this security are possible because blockchain is based on a peer-to-peer network, and the storage also is peer-to-peer. So if you talk about security, for something that you have access to that wallet, it is very secure. The only challenge, because it is decentralized, the advantage is that you have full ownership over the assets, or complete ownership. The only challenge is if you lose your password, it's called mnemonic phrase or seed phrase. If you lose that password, you have lost everything. That's the challenge.
Wow.
Yes, because it is decentralized. So if you lose that password, there is nothing like recover or forget password.
So most of the fraud that I've seen associated with crypto technology, and that's a very good point that you made there. So the fraud that I've seen has been where someone has been socially engineered or tricked into sharing that password or that information with someone, and that's how the person actually gains access to the funds, and basically ends up transferring that money out of their account because they have the information, not necessarily because the technology was not secure and that they hacked into it. So I do want to make that point. And like I said, as taking some of the things that I do know or am familiar about the technology, I'm also learning while I'm here on this podcast with you. So I appreciate you educating me. My background is in physical security and law enforcement. So I am familiar with, we call that a layering process. So in a company, you'll have systems within that company that operate critical equipment. So we call it operations technology or OT security. That part of the business function is not on the central network. And with it's on its own network. And then within that network, there's a network within the network. There's just so many different. So no one person could come in and sabotage a process because there's so many checks and balances in place that have to take place before that action is approved. So I get that concept, and that actually makes me feel really comfortable. And I would assure those listening or watching this podcast that when you have a process like that in place, it is very secure. But the thing is, also in security, we call it social engineering. Is when basically you have someone who is coerced or somehow tricked into sharing their information or giving up their information because they need a way to get into that account or the network or get access to whatever it is they're trying to gain access to. And a lot of times it can appear to be legit. When I have people reach out to me online about cryptocurrency and then opening a wallet for me and doing all these different things, I'm automatically leery because I'm like, well, why would you? I don't need you to open a bank account for me, because if you open a bank account for me and you have all the information and you're going to do all of this stuff for me, then you're going to have all my information and I don't even know you. Why would I give you this information? And that is oftentimes how you would be approached or get involved in a scam involving cryptocurrency. Is that someone volunteers to basically open a wallet for you and do all these different things for you, and they'll have your account number, password, all of these things like you were just talking about. So that is the thing I would just be concerned about. Like you said, educating yourself first, learning what blockchain technology is, how it works, understanding the basics and the foundations, cryptocurrency, and then moving on to getting yourself a digital wallet. And then I guess so from there, once I've gotten a digital wallet, which is basically just a digital representation of a wallet, or you can look at it as a bank account. I guess they're calling it a wallet, but some of us who are, I guess, are old school and kind of need something to relate it to or associate it with, I guess, like I said, you can look at it as a bank account. So once I've established that, now how do I know? And I look at it a lot like stocks, because stocks go up, they go down. There's a market. So the same with Bitcoin. They may go up, go down, and certain currencies are up, certain currencies are down. So once I've gotten a digital wallet for myself, how much money should I start out with? And I know that's probably subjective depending on how much money you have to spend, but how much should I start with? What coins should I buy? That can be, kind of overwhelming, I think, for the novice who's just getting started. What's your recommendation?